This is a discussion of the family obligations that you are required to sign each year in your recertification packet. You should always make sure that you supply any information that the Housing Authority requests of you for any annual re-exam or any interim request. The request is useless without the supporting documents to verify your request or the information that you have stated on your application. You must live in your assisted unit. If the Housing Authority has suspicion that you do not live in the unit, we may ask for verification. We do not want to pay for a vacant unit. Other people may need the help if you do not. We understand families change and increase and decrease, but you must let us know when that occurs. If it's something for other than the birth, adoption, or court-ordered custody, we must give you permission ahead of time. If the landlord is evicting you, you must provide the Housing Authority with a copy of the eviction notice. We cannot pay on a unit after eviction, so let us know ahead of time to see if there's anything we can do to help you with that. Also, if you've been given a notice to vacate, please give the Housing Authority a copy of that vacate notice. Please provide the Housing Authority with a 30-day written notice if you will be out of town for any extended period of time. This way we can make sure not to schedule appointments or inspections or issue terminations because we have been unable to contact you. Also, provide us written notice if at least 30 days prior if you are moving from your unit and you no longer want rental assistance, or if you are terminating the lease. You must allow the Housing Authority to inspect your unit to ensure that it's decent, safe, and sanitary for you and your family. We want to make sure that the landlord is keeping the unit in good repair and that you are taking care of the unit. We will always give you a reasonable notice, which is usually about 2 weeks notice before visiting. Let us know 72 hours in advance if you need to reschedule. Otherwise, it will be considered a no-show. The assisted unit must house the family that you have requested on your Housing Authority application and that we have verified. You can only have one permanent residence. You cannot live in the assisted unit for part of the time and somewhere else for the rest. As stated earlier, we realize your family composition can change over time, but you must report any addition to your family by birth, adoption, or court-ordered custody within 60 days of being added to your household. You will need to provide us with their Social Security card as well as their birth certificate. If someone is leaving your family, you must inform the Housing Authority and you must provide proof that that family member no longer is a part of your household. You could provide the lease that they have somewhere else, proof that they're attending college, or a utility bill for another address that might be in their name. Remember, this is not a free rent program. All your bills must be paid. We only assist you with your rent. You must pay the portion of the rent that we have stated in your certification, and you are also required to pay your utilities that have been specified in your lease as your responsibility. The utilities must remain on in your unit. And whatever appliances that the landlord has provided to you in that unit, you must make sure that you maintain and care for them as if they are your own and do not misuse or abuse them. There are additional family obligations which discuss things that you cannot do while participating on the program. You cannot own or have any interest in the unit that you are receiving assistance for. You cannot be the owner of it. Any direct family member cannot be an owner of the unit. You cannot commit serious or repeated violations of the lease. These could be grounds for termination if we receive excess violations. Any violation you receive must be submitted to the housing authority. You cannot commit fraud, bribery, or any other corrupt or criminal act in connection with this program. You cannot offer the landlord more rent than what is stated in the lease that you have signed with the housing authority. That's considered giving the landlord money under the table, and that is grounds for immediate termination of both the participant and the landlord. Do not engage in any drug-related or criminal activity in and around your unit. You cannot sublease or sublet your unit. This unit is being paid to assist your family. You cannot then ask another family to come in and give you rent for either that entire unit and you live somewhere else, or for a particular bedroom or portion of your unit. You may not duplicate housing assistance. The housing authority conducts the Housing Choice Voucher Program, which is a federal rental assistance program. We are the only agency that can assist you with your rent. You cannot then go to any other private or public entity and ask them for assistance in paying your rent. If there is an issue and you do not have enough money to pay your rent, that would be a conversation that you would need to come and contact the housing authority and let us verify the income that we have on file, and maybe we need to make some adjustments. Please do not damage the unit that you are in. And we rely upon private landlords to allow us to house our participants. And we want you to take care of the unit as if it was your very own. And do not engage in any abuse of alcohol that could threaten the peaceful enjoyment of those that are around you. The Housing Authority has an interim notification policy. This means that you must report any changes in your income that occur between annual recertifications. You must report these changes within 60 days of the change by providing the information through Assistance Connect or Assistance Check, which is our online portal. You can pick up a packet in the lobby, or you can download these packets from our website. Family income is any income that comes into the household that is received by any family member who is over the age of 18. It is a responsibility of the head of household to ensure that that income is reported. Do not rely upon the 18-year-old or someone else to report that income. You need to ensure that you log into your portal, or you bring them to the housing authority, or you do what's necessary to make sure that that income is reported, because you as a head of household will be responsible for paying that money back if they fail to report their income. You must always provide verification of whatever change you are requesting of the housing authority. It is not an interim request if no documents are provided. Please ensure that those documents are provided at the same time as the request. For the addition of a family member, you also need to request an interim change. If it's a result of birth, adoption, or court-ordered custody, you need to provide birth certificates, Social Security cards, or court-ordered custody paperwork. If it's the addition of any other family member, you must first contact the housing authority, and we need to provide you approval to include that family member in your household. And then at that time, you will also need to provide birth certificates, Social Security cards, and any income that's being provided by that new household member. If you're wanting to remove a family member, you must provide an updated lease that has the family removed, or you need to provide utility bills in the name of the subject where they are now living, any canceled checks verifying payment of rent somewhere else, or in a lease agreement in his or her name at another location in order to have them removed from your housing. If there has been a change in income, when you report that change, please provide employment verifications from your previous and your current employer, letting us know start and stop dates. Those verification documents are included with your interim packet, and you need to provide at least 2 to 4 consecutive paychecks other than the very first paycheck. They need to be full paychecks. If there's a loss of income, you again need to either provide a letter from the employer stating that they've let you go, have them fill out a employment verification form, but we need some type of verification that you no longer have the job. For new income, the same thing, pay stubs, employment verification forms. Just know that you must keep the housing authority up to date on your family status. In other words, we need to know who is living in your household at all times if it is different from what you originally stated on your applications. Any changes in income include, but are not limited to, a new job, even if it's a second job, a termination, a pay raise or overtime pay, the receipt of child support or spousal support, if you're now receiving a pension, any type of Social Security, if you've got a one-time lump sum payment, if you have regular payment of bills that are being paid by someone that's not living in your assisted household, that is income. You need to report who is assisting you with your bills. Any regular monetary or non-monetary gifts by someone not living in the assisted unit. If someone is providing clothes for your children, food for your family, and it's someone that does not live within your unit, that is income. You need to report that to the housing authority. If you have a business that you're running, if you cut hair, if you sit with someone, if you babysit, that is income and you must report that. Changes or examples of changes in your household can include if you have a new baby, if there's been a death in the family. Just remember, any person who lives with you must be reported. That is a person that sleeps, eats, and bathes in your unit. That person is living with you. A guest must have another residence and is usually limited by your lease as to how long they may reside with you on a temporary basis. You need to let us know of any person that has moved out of your household. Maybe it's an 18-year-old that's moved out or has gone to college. You need to report that because we will need to remove them from your household. Any additions to your household, you must ask for permission first before allowing that family member to move in unless it is by birth, adoption, or court-ordered custody. Remember that when your child turns 18, you must have them come into the housing authority because there's paperwork that they need to sign. That paperwork can be found on our website. It can also be found under the assistance check portal. You need to make sure that the 18-year-old completes that packet and returns it. We need to then, at that point, be provided with the ID of your 18-year-old child. They need to declare themselves a citizen. We need to have them fill out the income and criminal background checks, and we need to determine their student status. Like I said, this packet can be downloaded from Assistance Check and from our website. If there is a change in an adult family member's income, as we stated earlier, it must be reported as an interim change. If there is a change in the adult family member student status, you need to let the housing authority know. And then from that point forward, all adult family members must attend recertification appointments, if there is such, and also sign the necessary documentation in the application. Families are allowed, after they've been on the program for 1 year, to port, which means they may transfer outside of the current housing authority's jurisdiction and move to another jurisdiction. You need to indicate your desire to port on your application when you are sent it in the mail or when you fill it out so we know to contact you. You need to let us know during that process so that we can make sure that we get you all the necessary documentation to allow you to port. Just know porting takes a little bit of time. You'll be recertified at your initial housing authority, and you will also go through another interview at the housing authority. Keep in mind when you're porting that each housing authority has their own rules as it relates to subsidy standards, which is the amount of people that they allow in each bedroom. There are differences in payment standards, which is how much the housing authority will pay for each bedroom size or voucher size. You will need to be rescreened, and you need to make sure that you allow enough time because you will now need to find a unit in the other housing authority's jurisdiction. The housing authority now uses the online portal called Assistance Check, of which we'll show you a short video. And if you're interested in logging in and creating an account with Assistance Check, ask the housing authority for your PIN number and we can get you started on that. Hi, I'm Kim Brown, Executive Director for the Rosenberg Housing Authority, and I'm going to give you 6 reasons to create an account on Assistance Check. Assistance Check allows you to report changes and submit documents from the comfort of your own home or while on the go. It's easier to report all your changes, such as getting a new job, reporting a pay increase, or adding a family member. You can report these changes anytime by taking a picture of 2 of your recent paychecks or by taking a picture of your birth certificate or your Social Security card. No more squabbles over missing documents because if it's been submitted to Assistance Check, it becomes a permanent part of your file. No more excuses like, I never received that letter, because all housing authority communication will be sent through the portal. You will also be able to review the results of your inspection immediately so you can begin repairs. You can log into Assistance Check and sign all required documents directly from your computer, and then they will be sent directly to the Housing Authority. You can contact the Housing Authority directly from the main menu of Assistance Check so you can get your questions answered in a timely manner. Check your email weekly, and anytime you see this heading or an email that looks like this, log into Assistance Check immediately. For instructions on how to create an Assistance Check account, go to www.rosenbergha.org and click on FAQ for families.